Okay. Well, welcome all to the Digital Future of Justice 2.0. Thank you all for attending to this first call, which will be the first one of the warm-up phase, which will be out of three events. So again, welcome. You're already the winners because we selected you from a long list of participants from all over Europe. So first of all, let me tell you from everybody, of course, you're welcome. And now we would like to see your hands. Please raise your hands if you're there. The team Aero, are you there? Just click on the raise. There you go. We have some people from the team Aero. Now, how about the Justice Indexers from Italy? Are you guys there? Great. Welcome. What about Eftopia from Cyprus? Cool. Welcome. Map My Justice from France. Good stuff. Thank you for joining, guys. The comparators from Norway. Are you guys there? Great stuff. Good to see you all. Case Connect from Italy. Awesome. Welcome. I think actually some others just arrived as well from your teammates. And then Judicial from Italy. Good stuff. Well, thank you all, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. You all well selected. You sent all of your CVs and you sent a brief descriptions of your ideas, and we took that into consideration. It took us a long time because they were very, very good. But the judges had some work to do and selected you. And so now the time is for you to prepare your suitcase and join us in Bologna. And for that, we have a little bit more information. My name is Hugo. I know some of you because, of course, you participated, some of you last year, but the important thing for me is I'm not going to remove a lot of your time. I'm here just to help. So if you need anything, please write my email. I'm already spamming all of you, so you got already like 10 emails. And no worries, I'm going to send you another 20. So get used to it, but it's important that you help us organize this. As you know, travel accommodations and hotel bookings and so on can be very difficult. And now imagine, I think about people coming from France, other people coming from Cyprus. It's very complex. So please take time to send us information that we requested, and hopefully we can do that very, very quickly. Now, I wanted just to talk to you a little bit about what is the warm-up phase. The warm-up is just a preparation for the actual event that will happen between the 15th and 17th of November. So this is the first warm-up session. I will introduce you very soon your speakers, your stakeholders of the day. But the important thing is to remember that we will have a couple more. So in case one of your teammates is not around, please remind them that we will have another one next Tuesday, the 29th November at 5 p.m., and another one on the 4th of November, which will be the last one. So the second one, we will discuss about the structure of judicial decisions and the data sets of the hackathon. We will have some experts, and you better don't miss that one, because that one is a technical event. So for all of you to grasp what we're going to be doing, that's the key session. But then the third one is also very important for you because we will open then the mic to you. So then if you have any questions, it will be the right time to pose them, and then of course prepare you to attend to Bologna and join us, okay? Now, when is this going to happen? Well, we are going to be very well hosted by the University of Bologna. I know some of you already go to this university, which is great. And here we'll have somebody from Bologna University, Daniela, Cavallini, which will introduce them soon. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of what is that you're going to be seeing. If you see Bologna, it's a quite as a circle. It's very easy. So if you see on the top of this image, you can see that the train station on top. And then on the east of the city is where we will be there. So it's very easy to locate yourself around the city. Here, let me speak to you a little bit about what will happen during this the actual physical event. Day one, we will meet at 6:30, and we will have the registrations and a brief of a chat. in this in the some aulas of the university. We will get all the information about the locations via email. But then we will have a welcome dinner with all of you, and then you will have to come next day in the morning to join us for the actual event. Then day two is where the hackathon begins. So at 8:30, we will have the registration desk. We will have a breakfast for you waiting, and then we will have welcome introduction, open table for discussion, a workshop, and a lunch. And then finally, you will start with the hackathon. Finally, we will have a dinner. There will be coffee for you. No worries. Everything regarding food is all covered as well. Then we will have day three, which is key because you will go to sleep, come back, continue working for a while, but then it's time for your pencils to be down. That means that you will have to prepare your presentation to showcase it to a panel of judges. You will have some time to showcase to the judges, and later the judges will have a time for questions and answers with you. And then finally, we will select the winners of the hackathon. And allow me now to introduce to you the speakers of the day. We have Daniela Cavallini, which is an associate professor in the Department of Politics and Social Sciences at the University of Bologna, which are hosting us in this event. Then we've got from the Council of Europe, Elena Yurkina, which is the head of Unit Innovative Solutions for Human Rights and Justice at the Council of Europe. We have got as well Marco Fabri, which is the research director at the Institute of Legal Informatics and Judicial Systems. And finally, we got as well from the Council of Europe, Laetitia Dimanche, which is a project officer from Innovative Solutions, from Human Rights and Justice. Without further ado, I leave the word to Daniela. Thank you very much all for joining.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to share a short presentation. So tell me if everything is well. Okay, so the University of Bologna is very, very pleased and honored to host the hackathon. So first of all, I would like to thank the Council of Europe and also a colleague, a friend of mine, Marco Fabri of the National Research Council, for having involved me. Our collaboration is looking very fruitful, but I think the biggest success is getting in touch with you, with young students from different countries who are going to participate in this exciting competition. I am a professor of the University of Bologna with a legal background, and I'm currently the director of the Center for Judicial Studies. The center aims to improve judicial administration through legislative, organizational, and technological innovations. It is composed of law professors and other experts, among whom are sociologists, political scientists, and also experts in organizational analysis. We are all aware that the future of justice is inevitably linked to computer science. As in other areas, the functioning of the judicial system and the proper exercise of judicial function are increasingly dependent on the use of computer tools, sophisticated statistical processing, and artificial intelligence. This, as we know, will be a source of potential benefits, but also of new challenges and risks. Therefore, it is crucial to discuss together and look for new solutions that can improve the functioning of justice. So, again, thank you very much for this initiative. Moreover, to conclude, I would like just to mention two important projects of the University of Bologna. The first is okay.
Sorry, could you please remove your audio? I'll remove it from the doors. It's okay. Now I sound free.
Okay, so the first project is the Alma Mater Research Center for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence. It is an interdisciplinary hub aiming at promoting AI-based research activities. It involves 26 departments and more than 300 researchers. The second project is the European supercomputer Leonardo, hosted and managed by Cinica. Installed in 2022, it is one of the 3 pre-exascale systems and one of the 8, but please, you are the expert, correct me if I'm wrong, biggest computer in the world. Leonardo project represents a significant step forward in raising European research in the field of computational sciences. So the hackathon perfectly fits this context, this environment, and contributes to foster the visibility and also the prestige of the University of Bologna. So thank you very much again, and good luck to the teams.
Thank you very much, Daniela. Now I would like to Marco to share a few words with us, and please if you want to share your screen as well. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you very much, Hugo. Thank you very much, Elena. Thank you very much, Daniela, for your kind words. Let's see if I can share my screen. There we go. Okay, thanks. Okay, my name is Marco Fabri. I've been a resource director of the National Research Council of Italy for quite a few years, and with Daniela we have been working together, I would say almost, Daniela, it's a pity, but it's true, for more 20-25 years. So the National Research Council of Italy is slightly different from the university because it's a government agency under the supervision of the Ministry of Research and Education, and has different institutes all over Italy. And mine is called, as was said by Ugo, the Institute of Legal Informatics and Judicial System, which is located in Bologna, and we share many activities with the institute that was introduced by Daniela. Here there is, if you want to know more, here there is the link, of course, of the institute. We deal with many issues that deal with ICT, information technology, but also, which is also my field, with comparative judicial systems. Just to give you a very brief introduction about what we are, we have been working with many international and national institutions. Most probably the most important one is the European Commission for the Efficiency of Justice, indeed of the Council of Europe, the World Bank, the OECD, and also with the Minister of Justice and the Italian Judicial Council. Since I'm quite old, I would say we started, and it was the first research ever on the application of information and communication technology in Europe in 2001. We organized for the first time ever the first European seminar on core technology, and we published a book which was Justice and Technology in Europe, How ICT is Changing the Judicial Business. Then we have been carried out several other research projects. Here are just a couple of publications of what we have done. In 2003 also we published and carried out a research with European Union grants on judicial electronic data interchange, and also in 2007 information and communication technology for the Public Prosecutor's Office. So we have been continuously studying the developments of ICT in the judiciary. I would also want to mention to this audience and also the young students that the JAL Association, because the study of judicial administration, generally speaking, has been a little bit always neglected, I would say. So if you are students of the law school, you are going to study procedural law, criminal law, constitutional law, but really when it's a matter of the organization and the interplay between the laws and the real world, something is missing. And that's the kind of thing that we have been studying for quite a few years. A few years ago, we decided that it was about time to establish this not for an NGO, so a not-for-profit organization, which is called the Justice Administration Research Association, which is trying to put under the same roof all the people into the broad perspective and interdisciplinary perspective that are going to study the governance and the functioning, the real functioning of the judicial systems. It has been, of course, you have also the website of the association. I have just to see to find maybe some more information. As I told you, I now I'm not young anymore, but I was young. I was pretty much of your age when I started studying the judicial administration, and particularly ICT, and everything started from this. Now, this was our ICT tool at the beginning of the 90s. This is a book. And it's called, and it's still called, a register of actions. In the law, you can find all the criminal or civil cases, and the columns, so you have all the different events that could take place in a procedure. So that was our technology at the beginning of the 90s. Of course, many things have been changed. I'm a boomer, but I've seen, I moved from the paper now to the cellular phone and even more. So right now it's about time, and it's the age of cloud computer, artificial intelligence, and maybe you are aware of that, of predictive justice, of generative AI, which are certainly, things that have to be studied. That is the present, and it will be the future. I will not be there, but most probably, I think that I will keep studying at least for the next 10 years the developments on these fields. The most important thing, I believe, is certainly play with these tools, but with some attention. And I make my own the words of the Vice President of the European Research Council, which says we must ensure that we stay smart in a smart world, a concept that encompasses staying informed, adaptable, and responsible in our engagement with artificial intelligence. This endeavor is about being proactive in harnessing the benefit of technology while mitigating its risk, and I underline really to you, which are the young generation, and ensuring it serves the collective good. So again, technology must serve the collective good. Is not supposed to be vice versa. In these times, I always like to start, in this case, I'm going to end my short presentation and my short introduction with the lighthouse. I think that particularly in Europe, we have a very important and still, I think, profound, I would say, lighthouse that was signed and written in 1950 in Rome. And in particular, I would like to underline Article 6 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which I think is still, and it should be always read by all the people that are living in Europe, which says very clearly what is supposed to be done by a judicial system. Everyone, means really everyone, is entitled to a fair and public hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial tribunal. So I hope that also with your playing with technology, you always keep in mind that all our actions, are supposed to have this lighthouse as a really focusing point. We have to try to do all we do in order to reach these objectives that has been signed more than 60, 70 years ago in Rome. Everyone is entitled to a fair and public hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial tribunal. So please keep it in mind every time you start playing with computers and with your data set. So I see you soon in Bologna. Bologna, for the Bolognese, they are supposed to know the city quite well, but there are several teams that I believe have not been in town. So this is Bologna, and I'll see you soon in about 3 weeks. And we are very welcome with Daniela Cavallini and the University of Bologna, and of course the Council of Europe. It's, I think, a nice team, a good team. And Ugo, of course, are the company that is going to organize the details of these events. So we really do. We are very pleased, and we look forward to meeting you and to seeing you in Bologna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your presentation, your kind words. I would like now, as it's time down for the Council of Europe to share some words, the host of this event. So please, Elena, if you can share your screen and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Mark and Daniela. Thank you for the fantastic presentation and with focus on the human rights. And thank you for the participants for being with us today. So getting back to the questions of collective goods and lighthouse, which Mark mentioned, I would like to continue from this point and speak a little bit who we are as the Council of Europe, why we're organizing the hackathon, and getting a little bit in the technical details about some structure of some judicial documents, but more information will be provided to you during the following warm-up sessions and through also the mentors who will be present at the spot during the hackathon. So why the Council of Europe? The person, I don't know if you know the person who is on the photo, but in fact it's quite well-known person. This is Winston Churchill, who was, according to the legends which we have now at the Council of Europe, was one of the fathers of the Council of Europe. After the Second World War and after all the atrocities and all the awful things that were happening on the European continent, his idea together with other persons, politicians here in Europe, was to create kind of a United States of Europe, to make sure that the cooperation between the states on the continent is very deep and that they share the same values and thinking about the collective good. So this is when and how the Council of Europe was established, and not to be confused with the European Union, which has absolutely the same rules as the Council of Europe. So the two international organizations were founded to bind together the cooperation and states in Europe. And the European Union went more into economic cooperation, while the Council of Europe went more towards the cooperation in the field of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. The Council of Europe is an international organization with 46 member states, and the European Union with 27 member states. And at the Council of Europe, the cooperation of the states is one of the pillars of this cooperation are the international treaties which are signed by the states, 46 member states of the Council of Europe. And nowadays we have more than 200 different conventions dedicated to absolutely different various topics in the world. And basically the last convention, I think Laetitia will speak a little bit about this. The last convention was open for the signature on the 5th of September, and it is dedicated to artificial intelligence. So this is the last Council of Europe convention. And speaking about the Council of Europe, so you imagine that there are conventions which are the basic agreements the states enter into between themselves, but to make sure that these agreements are practical and real, somebody has to monitor whether the agreements are fulfilled. So the Council of Europe has a special set of monitoring bodies which do the visits to different states of the Council of Europe and check with the national authorities, check whether the obligations and the conventions are performed by the states. And obviously there are some gaps. This is absolutely normal. And when these gaps in the implementation of the conventions are discovered, the Council of Europe's technical cooperation branch enters into play, and this is where we are. So we're dealing with cooperation, helping authorities, national authorities, to overcome the gaps and to perform better their obligations under the standards set by the Council of Europe in form of the conventions. And this is called Council of Europe Dynamic Triangle. Briefly speaking about monitoring bodies, you can see basically the list of topics which are being monitored by the Council of Europe, where we can see the gap. And you can find all this information on the web page of the Council of Europe. And the biggest monitoring body, together with the standard setting and monitoring, this is the European Court of Human Rights, which is composed of 46 judges from different countries, member states of the Council of Europe, who are present constantly in Strasbourg. The court supervises the implementation of the European Convention of Human Rights, and Article 6 of the convention was mentioned by Marco, which is one of the most important articles in the convention, but frankly speaking, all of them are very important. And the unique thing about the convention is that any individual under the jurisdiction of the 46 states can send an application to the European Court alleging that the rights of this person are violated. And as of December 2022, there were more than 25,000 judgments delivered by the European Court. Once the judgment is delivered by European Court, there is another department at the Council of Europe, which is called Department for the Execution of Judgments of the European Court, which enters into play and communicates and coordinates with the national authorities that the violations and the gaps and the problems are rectified and there are no further violations on the same topic and the persons get compensation and the situation is improved. And this is the only one judicial body which can accept application from individuals against states. So briefly about the convention. The European Convention guarantees the freedom of thought, conscience and religion, freedom of expression, the right to education, free elections, right to fair trial, mentioned by Marco, and the convention prohibits torture, slavery and hard labor, discrimination, and the death penalty is banned on the whole territory of the Council of Europe. This is in a nutshell how the convention looks, and you can see on the picture the original text of the European Convention, signed almost 75 years ago. Okay. This is an illustration, innovative approaches to the text. You can see on one screen almost all the articles of the European Convention, meaning that the text itself is not big. This is very, there are just a couple of articles, a little bit more than 10 pages of a small publication format booklet about the convention. So it's really short and brief. But what is important, this is a case law of the European Court, meaning the decisions of 46 judges who decide how the convention is applicable to each particular situation in very specific circumstances. However, what is very important is that before getting to the European Court, an application of individual shall go through the whole chain of the judicial instances in a national, in the state. Meaning that if, for instance, you imagine that your rights were violated by your state or by the state where you reside, it doesn't need to be your state. You first have to go to national courts and go to the first instance, then appeal to the second instance, and then if the third instance is existing in the state and it is considered efficient for the consideration of such questions by the European Court, you must go to the third instance. And only after this you can come to the European Court with the application saying that in fact your problem or your question was not addressed by national authorities, and you have to prove at the European Court that you went through the whole chain of national courts in the country. And this is very important because the European Court analyzes what kind of national decisions were taken in your situation, in your case, and whether you got redress to the situation or not. And this is called admissibility criteria. The exhaustion of domestic remedies is one of the criteria that shall be met. So speaking about the case law of the European Court, all the case law is published online. You can find all the cases ever considered by the European Court, examined on the HUE database. Some of you probably have seen and know this database. So briefly, this is how it looks like. You can then visit and see. You can find what is important to understand, I think, is that in the case law, there are two different types of documents. There are judgments and decisions. Decisions of the court are related to the applicability of the application, admissibility of the application, meaning that court examines whether all the requirements set in Article 35 of the European Convention are met, meaning that if the domestic remedies were properly exhausted, if the term for the application is not missed, if there is really violation of rights, and only after this, the court, if the application is admissible, the court proceeds with the examination of the case on the merits. So when the court decided about the application, it takes decisions. When the court decides on the merits of the case, it adopts judgments. And judgments can be adopted either in chamber, where 7 judges are seated, or in grand chamber, which is the judicial body, which is either revising the judgments adopted by the chamber, or sometimes the case is sent directly to the grand chamber if it is a difficult case. You can see also the articles which are applied in the specific case. You can see the language in which the case was adopted. It is either English or French. Grand chamber judgments are always in 2 languages, and you can have some information from the description of the case. You can have the case details and legal analysis, brief legal analysis. You can also find, if you go into the case, you can find the links to other cases. This is how the case file looks inside. So you can see there's the case details tab, where you can find additional information about the domestic law, which was cited in the case. You can find the case law of the European Court, Strasbourg case law, which lists the cases which were considered or mentioned during the examination of the case. You can see the international law and the keywords. Unfortunately, these parameters are introduced to the cases not so long ago. So in all the cases, you don't find often all this additional information about the case. Then the case law is developing fast and on different topics in different areas. Even though there are like limited number of articles, the situations are numerous, so the case law is developing fast. And I think there is no one lawyer in the world who knows all the case law and all the nuances of the case law. Even the lawyers who are working at the registry of the court, and I was one of the lawyers working at the registry of the court some years ago. So for this, the European Court started to process all the intelligence, all the knowledge that they have, and separated it, produced basically different information materials. I normally call it as Wikipedia of the case law of the European Court, where you can find information about articles and the case law under each of the article. But you can also find some thematic transversal themes in the case law analysis. So if you're interested in some particular topic, you can visit also these themes and find information about all the case law related to the topic, like for instance data protection, which might be interesting for you. And finally, to understand a little bit more about interplay between the Council of Europe, first of all, the European Convention and the European Court, to have the basic knowledge, and also to have knowledge about the interplay between the Council of Europe and the European Union, you can visit the help platform of the Council of Europe, which is a platform providing for online courses. They are free. You can enroll yourself and do them as when you have time, and there you can find maybe some answers or some additional information about the Council of Europe and how to link to the European Union, as I mentioned. With this, I stop my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, I will be ready to address them later on, or maybe during the hackathon, as I'm going to be present there all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you very much. Now I'll pass the word to Laetitia, Dimanche. So please, if you'd like to share your screen and unmute yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope my screen is shared now. Yeah. Can confirm. Okay, so after Elena's presentation, I will continue with the Council of Europe, but present more the instruments in the digitalization area. Here, I will start with the main convention we have related to digitalization. The first was adopted in 1981. You can see on the top right of the screen. It's the Convention for the Protection of Individuals with regards to automatic processing of personal data. The so-called, the short name we use is Convention 108. Now it's 108 plus because we have adopted an amended protocol, but it was the first legally binding international instrument in the data protection field. On the top left, you can see the Convention on Cybercrime. It was adopted in 2001. It gathered 76 parties and 20 countries which have signed or been invited to accede. So it's one of the largest convention of the Council of Europe, and you will see here there is a small specificity. Some convention of the Council of Europe are open to non-member states. This is why it's way more than 46 countries being parties. This Budapest Convention have two additional protocols. One is on xenophobia and racism, and the other one is on electronic evidences. And the last one, the latest, as Elena mentioned, convention we have is the Framework Convention on Artificial Intelligence. It's the first ever internationally legally binding treaty in the field of artificial intelligence, and it aims to ensure that activity within the life cycle of artificial intelligence system are fully consistent with the human right, democracy, and the rule of law, which are the three pillars of the Council of Europe. What a novelty we have under this treaty is that the scope covers both public and private sectors. As she said, it was adopted in May later this year and is open to signatures since September 2024. On this, the artificial intelligence is one, I have to say, organization key strategic priority. And the role of the Council of Europe is here to ensure that its fundamental values are protected in the digital environment as much as they are outside of it. Regarding artificial intelligence, the organization has adopted a transversal approach regarding this technology, which means we have a wide range of instruments in this regard on many related topics. You can see that the Council of Europe tackles subjects like healthcare. We also have labor markets, autonomous vehicle, which is really precise. More recently, we had work on smart cities and smart region, combating hate speech online, digital citizenship education, but also the role of arts and culture in the age of artificial intelligence. And now, because it's the subject of the hackathon, a small focus on the justice field. As you know, development in digital justice is, of course, creating real opportunities to improve the quality and the efficiency of justice. This is why we are here today. But in the same time, it also constitutes new challenges for the respect of fundamental rights, but more specifically, principles related to trial, essential guarantees we have for our judicial systems. So this is why the CEPEJ, which is the European Commission for Efficiency of Justice, has started to develop tools with a view of offering a framework to the member states and legal professionals. One of the key tools is the European Ethical Charter on the use of artificial intelligence in judicial system. And this charter was adopted in 2018, and it identifies the following core principles to be respected. The first one is more general, the respect of fundamental rights, of course, to ensure that AI tools and services are compatible with these rights. We also have the non-discrimination, specifically preventing the development and intensification of any discrimination between individuals. We also have the principle of quality and security with regard to the processing of judicial decision and data. The idea is to use certified sources and intangible data with the models conceived in multidisciplinary manner in a secure technological environment. We also have the principle of transparency, impartiality, and fairness. Here, the idea is to making data processing methods accessible and understandable. For example, authorizing external audits. And finally, the principle we call under user control or human oversight. Here, we want to ensure that users are informed actors and in control of their choices. This principle, you can also find them, they are reflected in the Convention on Artificial Intelligence I mentioned earlier. But the CEPEJ also developed other tools related to the subject. You can see on the screen there is a guidelines, several guidelines on video conferencing, electronic code filing, online alternative dispute resolution, e-auction, and the latest one is on the use of generative AI by judicial professionals. I wanted also to mention you that the European Court of Human Rights tackles also the topic in several ways. And without going too much into details, I'd like to mention the fact sheet they published on new technologies. It's a thematic fact sheet. This one is actually updated few days ago, so it's the very new version. You can find it online. And as you can see on the screen, there is many topics tackled by the court, such as facial recognition, mobile application, IP addresses, or online harassment. Finally, as Elena mentioned, the help platform, which is a platform allowing to have access to online courses for free. And I wanted to mention specific courses we have on. The latest one is artificial intelligence and human rights, but there is also cybercrime and electronic evidence, data protection and privacy right, and more specifically personal data protection in publication of judicial decision. And that's it for me. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you in Bologna.
Thank you, Laetitia. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you all the stakeholders for very interesting presentations. And thank you all for attending this, your first warm-up virtual session. Just a quick reminder before we let you go, there will be 2 more sessions. The next one is on the 29th of October at 5 p.m. No worries, I will send you that email as well. And the last one will be on the 4th of November. We'll try to make it available as well online, this presentation. But if you have any doubts, please don't hesitate. Email me if you need anything from the material you see here and you want it. Just feel free to ask for it. Also, the last thing, please remember to send us the information. I just sent you the list of details that we need in order for you to attend to Bologna. Other than that will be it. So hopefully you start already doing your luggage, and we will be seeing you on the 15th of November in the beautiful city of Bologna. So expect very good food, of course. So thank you all for attending. Thank you all for the other stakeholders. Thank you, Elena, Daniela, Marco, and Laetitia. And we'll see you soon. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.